All right, good day, everybody. It's May the 15th, the year 2017. What you see on the screen is a picture of Schuyler Barbeau, a true American patriot who is standing up for the Constitution, liberty, freedom, and specifically the Second Amendment. That's his address right before your eyes. I pray that if you don't do anything else as a result of watching this video, that you take the time to write Schuyler Barbeau a letter. He is currently in a federal detention center in Seattle, Washington. He's got a trial coming up, if I'm not mistaken, June the 5th, although I could be wrong. It's always good to find the exact date and give out proper information. Let me just bring that up real quick. Schuyler Barbeau would be, where's his name? Right there. Yeah, his trial is set for June the 5th, and so I pray that you guys find the time, if you live in the area, and even if you don't and can travel, that you pack that courtroom and support Schuyler Pyatte Barbeau. I know his mother will be there, and may we all have moms like Schuyler Barbeau's mom. She is his biggest supporter, very outspoken for his freedom. Some letters arrived in the mail today, 3 of his legal motions. I'll be making 3 separate videos and reading each motion into YouTube. If you ever want to learn like the details on why Schuyler Barbeau is in prison, it is specifically because of the Second Amendment. Schuyler believes that the phrase "shall not be infringed" means exactly what it says. And if you want to understand the details about fully automatic and the legal versions of fully automatic, which is known as binary trigger, bump fire, slide fire, and the selective enforcement that's being pulled upon Schuyler Barbeau, you can watch this video, which I titled as such. There's another video that says that I put out that says Schuyler Barbeau being put in prison for short-barreled rifle is plain stupid and against the Second Amendment. He's facing 10 years in prison because of a simple plastic piece. Whether you hold your rifle on your forearm or whether you put it up against your shoulder can make the difference in 10 years in prison. That's called selective enforcement. And Schuyler doesn't believe that he should be put in prison because he manufactured his own fully automatic short-barreled rifle, which is no different than a bump fire, trigger fire, and also AR pistols. If you want to get to know Schuyler and the story in detail, there is a video called Meet American Patriot Political Prisoner Schuyler Barbeau. It's 48 minutes long, where I read a letter from Schuyler, and then Schuyler has written a numerous articles since he's been in prison, and all of those articles are captured on Gary Hunt's outpost-of-freedom.com. There's a Barbeau HTM page and there's a blog page, and both of them have different content for Schuyler Barbeau. This will all be in the description bar. I pray you go look at it. These are our American patriots. They stand up for our freedoms. They're fighting for our Constitution. When they took their oath, it wasn't just a bunch of words. These men believed what they said, and we should not abandon them in their time of need. He's got a trial coming up, and that courtroom needs to be packed with Schuyler Barbeau supporters. When the courtroom is packed with supporters for the defendant, it's much, much, much harder for the judges to give long prison sentences. Schuyler Barbeau will also be representing himself, and I'm sure he could use the encouragement of looking out at the audience and seeing a bunch of supporters. I guess I should say gallery, right? All right, let's go to his first letter, which is this one. As you can tell, it's from Schuyler Barbeau. All 3 letters were in the same envelope. It's to my P.O. Box, and let's read it. I have not read it, so we're reading it together for the first time. United States District Court, Western District of Washington at Seattle. United States of America versus Schuyler P. Barbeau. This is a Marine. This is the FBI tried to paint Schuyler Barbeau as a domestic terrorist along the lines of ISIS. Right? The FBI is completely satanic. They've been corrupted to the core. A few bad apples have corrupted the whole barrel, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that they could even call Schuyler Barbeau a domestic terrorist and threaten to put him in prison for 10 years is horrific. It's horrific that that's going on in our country. Case number CR15-391 RAJ, petition for redress of grievances ex parte. Maybe that's ex parte. Comes now Schuyler P. Barbeau on my behalf to petition this court for redress of grievances. I was appointed Robert Gombiner from the CGA panel in December. We have met once a week, nearly every week since, which has been great overall. However, all this time we have been working to figure out what kind of arguments to raise for pretrial motion and other motions as well. I have been working on my arguments and challenges for the last 15 months. I have studied case law for all of it. For hours every day I work on my case. My attorney says all my work is frivolous. I have spent months drafting several motions, revising, researching, revising again. Then, when I present my best to my attorney, he says it's all frivolous, and that all my arguments have no merit, and that none of it makes any sense. He has refused to file anything I have. This is petition for redress, page 1. We're going on to page 2. He has refused to file anything I have given him, and every other request. He has offered to file his own motions, but not anything I have written. It's unacceptable to me. I have spent countless hours reading, researching, digesting, and pondering in these specific areas of federal law, also the case law. I have developed important arguments to raise, yet my attorney has said it's all pointless. This is not fair to me. Mr. Gombiner has told me his personal views on firearms, that he doesn't believe anybody should have any guns. Wow, let me read that again. Mr. Gombiner has told me his personal views on firearms, that he doesn't believe anybody should have any guns, period. Freaking-credible. I get angry just reading that. This guy needs to be marched out of America and booted off on the first boat out of this country. When I say this guy, I'm talking about the attorney, the public pretender. He told me that before I can convince a judge, I have to convince him. How can I convince someone of my position who is completely anti-gun, let alone machine guns? Mr. Gombiner has essentially become my judge, jury, and executioner. He told me that if I want to my motions filed, then I need to file them myself. So that is what I want to do. For redress, I am requesting this court to allow me to proceed from this day forward as pro se, to schedule a Ferretta hearing at the earliest convenience, to appoint a new counselor as standby counsel, and to move my motions filing deadline back at least 1 month to allow me to type up my draft motions and get them mailed to the court. I do not need to reschedule the June the 15th trial date, dated this 8th day of March 2017. Respectfully submitted, Schuyler Barbeau, printed Schuyler Barbeau. Okay, this reminds me of Schaefer Cox, and I want to try to find that picture. Okay, you guys see this picture? This is all the evildoers in Schaefer Cox's case. You see this lady right here? This lady right here. She was appointed as Schaefer Cox. Let me bring the front. Yeah. She was appointed as Schaefer Cox's attorney. She's one of the biggest gun grabbers in the country. She's an attorney. She doesn't think anybody should own any guns. See, that's the kind of public pretenders when you're at the federal level that get assigned to these patriots who believe in the Second Amendment. And she wanted Schaefer to plead insanity. And she wanted Schaefer to drop all of his arguments for the Second Amendment. But Schaefer finally got rid of her, but he had to go through a lot of shenanigans to finally get rid of this, what's her name? Suzanne Lee Elliott. Look her up. Suzanne Lee Elliott. It sounds like Schuyler is having the exact same problem with this Mr. Gombiner, who doesn't believe that anybody should own any guns. All of these lawyers are just, I don't even know the words to describe it, but they need to be kicked out of the country. If you don't believe anybody should own any guns, there's something wrong with your mental state, right? There's something wrong with your brainwashing and indoctrination by the New World Order has gotten to such a level that I don't know if you can be recovered, you know. But anyway, we praise God for men like Schuyler Barbeau. We support him. There's his address right there. If you don't do anything else from watching this video, please take the time, get an envelope, get a pen, get a stamp, write him a letter, tell him we love him, tell him we're not forgetting about him, and tell him you're not going to turn your back on him during his time of need. And if you can, Remember that his trial date is June the 5th. That's just a few weeks off, and we need to be there in huge support. I will not be able to take off work from Texas myself, but if you're in the area or you can travel, I'm sure his mom and I'm sure Schuyler would love to see you in that courtroom. God bless every one of you. We're going to read the other 2 letters coming up shortly.